Right, well, welcome to a very short episode of In the Workshop. I just wanted to give you an update on the actual workshop itself because since I did the videos of it being built last year, I've kind of just moved into it and I've kind of just steadily but surely been adding bits and pieces to it. And it's beginning to feel more homely now and more like a workshop. It's just a fine size. It's, I wanted the bench space. The bench space was always going to rob a bit of the space to work round the bike, but I can work round the bike quite happily. And on the lift, I can move it back and forward a bit, and there's no area of the bike that I can't work on, and I can freely walk round, quite freely, and that's fine. I've now probably disappeared out of sight, or maybe not. But it's coming on really well, and I just wanted to kind of bring you up to date with a few of the bits and pieces that I've been adding. I had a list on the board that I briefly showed you, and slowly but surely I'm getting things marked off. I've ordered a four gauge card balancer. I think a Sealy one I've ordered, and I've got a washer which I'm going to show you just in a minute, and I've got sort of buffing discs. I've kind of taken care of that. Compression tester, I used to have one, but I don't know where it went, so I'm going to buy one. I think just a standard 1.5 Halfords will do me. I still need to get an ultrasonic carb cleaner, but I'm still kind of looking into those and researching them and trying to see what I really need to get. I will buy a brake bleeder of some sort. Compressor would be nice, an air compressor would be nice. I've obviously got the small portable one, but it's not really up to the job. It kind of gets me by. I mean, it did get those pistons out, the calipers, which was really quite amazing really, but it did work. So it has got its use. The other thing that I did buy was I bought the drill stand and the vise. I was looking at a drill press and as impressive as they are and a great bit of kit to have on your bench, I didn't really feel I could use it or give it justice, and I decided that something like this would just be good enough for me, and an awful lot cheaper. I've been spreading out getting the bits and pieces because, obviously it's expensive. It's expensive to start equipping your garage or your workshop. I have bought this Hilka 3.5 gallon parts washer, and this tray comes out and the fluid is underneath that tray. So if you want to soak something, I took this caliper last night and I put it in the bottom of the container so that it would soak and maybe try and help clean it a bit. Now this caliper is actually the one that's knackered, and this is the one with the broken nipple. There is another option. I could easily seal this off with something like JB Weld, and buy a banjo type bleeding bolt that you can add onto your end of your banjo cable, or your end of your brake hose cable. And I could then, I'll refurbish this caliper. I'm just as well doing it, and I've got a spare repair kit for it, so I will get it back into operation. There is a bit of me thinks, do I go for trying to drill this out? It's got the torque tool right in the middle of it, which just shows you how tight that was for that to snap. It wasn't a cheap tool, and it didn't move. It just twisted and snapped. So. It does kind of make me think that this is maybe mission impossible to get this out without it being a proper engineer and a proper engineering shop, and 100% knowing what they're doing. So this holds 3.5 gallon of fluid. I bought the right fluid for it. I've got about another change sitting in the drum. I got a tenner off it because I'd spent some money, and they've got a special offer in March. If you spend the money, you're getting a voucher back. So I think I managed. That's why I kind of went for it. I knew I had money sitting, and I knew I needed to get it, especially when we were doing the work on the brake calipers. So I think I got it for about, I can't remember if it was 70 early £70, and I got it for a tenner off, 60 odd pound. It might have been less than that, I can't remember. But anyway, that's a good addition to the workshop. And then I've added this brush in, which I bought. This is a Clark brush or something. It's a standard one. You just put it on the end of the hose, and it just gives you that sort of a brush to be able to clean things. Obviously, the other great thing that I got free, thankfully to my mate Will, who picked it up in one of the sites in our work that was closing, and I like it. It looks very vintage. It's very old, I think. It works beautifully. And I've taken one of the grinding wheels off, and I've put this soft sort of foam buffing wheel, which will be ideal just for taking the dirt off of bolts and slides, and that works beautifully. The bearings in it, it spins beautifully. It's a great bit of kit, and I like it because it's a little bit retro. I've got eye goggles, glasses for it, but there's no shields on it now. But I will try and see if I can maybe find some. But failing that, I've got the specs, and it sits quite nicely up on my shelf. And then of course I added the upgraded my radio system because it was the other one was cutting out all the time, and I added this little temperature thing so I could see what the temperature is in the workshop. Put this back here. So that's kind of it. That's kind of the additions to the workshop. I don't think I've missed anything out. I think that's about it. It's really grown. It's beginning to take shape, and I'm really pleased with it. And slowly but surely, I keep adding bits to it. You can't do it all at once. It's a lot of expense. When I did the tool cabinets, like I used all my old all these old cabinets that you see here, and all the old cabinets. They came from my old work where I used to work. Over 15 years ago. They all came from the offices when the offices were getting downsized, and I let you see them all. I collected all the cabinets basically, and I had those in my garage for years. And when the joiner was building the workshop, he bespoke the build for me so that everything fitted. He measured it all out, decided where it was going to go. So they're great metal cabinets. I didn't want to go out and buy some, £3,000 fancy cabinet system. I didn't want to spend that kind of money for starters, and a lot of these things were just for big toolboxes, and I didn't need a big toolbox. I already had my sort of Halford's advanced stack. I didn't need anything else. I don't need that many tools. But they're handy I've got a lot of old tools when I was in the trade, and so they're handy for bits and pieces that I've had over the years, and they're handy for keeping other bits in, and I've got a lot of spares and so forth in these bigger cabinets, and they saved me quite a bit of money and gave me quite a bit of storage, and it's really neat and tidy, and I really like it, and I'm really, really pleased with the workshop. It's something that I always had the ambition to have and never seemed to be in a position to do it. I was too busy quite a lot of my years spending my money on brand new motorcycles and tying myself up with finance on bikes and so forth, and never really having enough spare cash to look at something like this. I had my garage obviously, but I'd kind of outgrown that a bit, and it was never really a comfortable place to work, and at that time I didn't have electrics in it either. So when we went down the road of putting together the idea of getting the garden sorted out, and there was always an element that I was going to build a workshop behind the garage, this was the end result of it. And of course, because I ran electrics into here, we ran electrics into the garage, and it's transformed. Even having the electrics in the garage has transformed things. It's just fantastic. I've got a bit of a cold, bit of a sore throat, so I'm not. Luckily, you're going to get a break, and I'm not going to talk any longer. Update on the VFR. I've now got all the kit ready to put into the calipers. I just need to clean them up, and that's, I just got this on Friday or whatever, and this is now Sunday, and I'm not been feeling 100%, so I've been kind of not doing a lot this weekend. but I'm going to get the calipers all cleaned up. And what I might do is I might just video one caliper getting rebuilt. I'll do a couple. I'll do one first, and I'm going to do them all because I'm going to end up with 2 sets of calipers still, hopefully. And I'll maybe save the last one to video and show you how I'm going to put it together. And then I've obviously still got the brake hoses to do. So I'll get the brakes done. This is, again, the beauty of the workshop is it's no rush, I just go at my own pace, my own leisure. It's my own spare time, and I like just doodling away. There's no rush to do things, and I'm working steady. I'm still at the stage where I get a bit annoyed with myself, a bit of my own ability and the things that I've done that I think, oh, why did I do that, or I made a bit of a mess of that, or so forth. It's frustrating. I don't like not doing things right, but sometimes I'm not always capable of doing it right. That's how I feel. I do my best, but and I feel like I'm relearning a lot of things. I feel like an almost old apprentice who's had to revisit his trade. And because to be a motor engineer, it takes years and years and years outside your apprenticeship, and I never ever really did that. So I accept the fact that I'm mediocre, and I'm definitely open to any advice or any criticism. If it's keeping everybody else straight, then I'm happy. It's always hard to take it when you're doing something wrong or you haven't done something well. That's just human nature, isn't it? But at the same time, if you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to expose yourself to people, what in your working practices, then you're going to expect that you're going to maybe come under a bit of flack when you're not quite doing things up to standard. But it is a hobby. It's a bit of fun. Anyway, I'm going to sign off at that, and hope you all the best on your Sunday. Don't think I'll have anything today to bring you up to date with. I'll have a look at the caliper. I'll see if I can drill the hole out. There's a bit of me just thinks, bugger it, I should just maybe give up and finish it off and go down the banjo bolt route. There's a bit of me just thinks that, because if I drill this and I get it wrong, then it's fucked, and I really am not sure that I can rescue that hole. Had a chance before the torque screw broke, is what I feel. Happy for anybody giving their opinion on that one, because I'm not going to do it right now. Okay, so I'll sign off, and I will say enjoy your Sunday again, and catch you on the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.